We have the technology.
All right, let me crop you a bit. Let me make it look nice and pretty. DjClancy, everyone, the CEO of Twitch. Can we get some yays in chat for DjClancy on our stream?
And I need to get yays for Rob Kovacs on my stream. There we go. You see, he's more experienced streamer than me. He can get the audience going, you know?
We've got Gabby J yay emotes of him being like, yay. So there you go. We see it in the chat. Nice job, everyone. Hold on. Let me crop Dan a bit. Let's see. All right.
Yeah, one of my guys said you've got a biblical look to you, and maybe you've got the biblical look with your big beard, and I have the old wizard look. You know?
Yeah, we could definitely be in an RPG together.
Yes, yes, I do. Like, there is this idea that maybe I need to go to TwitchCon as like Gandalf or something like that, to get folks going.
Please do that. That would be amazing. I mean, the long hair is a great look. How long have you had the long hair?
I started in COVID because I spent most of my life where I would go from short hair to not really long hair, just like because I would only get a haircut every 6 months. So, but and I never like got it long enough. And then when COVID hit, I was like, well, why don't I see if I like long hair? You know, and it's funny because it fits my personality better. You know, it really fits me well. Whereas, when I was going back with it, so it's a good look for me,
Yeah, you're a pretty casual, laid back, kind of go with the flow kind of person. And long hair speaks that. It says that.
It is funny how, sometimes we look at someone and we based upon the look, we build a model quickly for them. Right? And if I look back to an old LinkedIn picture of mine, especially just because of the pictures you end up putting on LinkedIn, and you see that, and you'd look at it and say, well, someone might get an impression of who I am. In fact, one thing I need to do is change my LinkedIn photo, probably, because I think when I became CEO, probably most people's impression of me was just from looking at my LinkedIn photo,
Yeah, the first picture I saw of you was a more short hair, yeah.
Yeah.
It looked like very business-like.
I know.
But I'm sure obviously you have the business acumen, but you're also really laid back, and it's been fun getting to know you, getting to chat with you, and hearing your musical side of Twitch. For those of you who don't know, Dan has been streaming music on Twitch. Mm-hmm. He's been playing music. He plays piano. He sings. He does a lot of roots rock, Americana songs. Loves Zach Bryan.
Yeah.
And he's been putting on some really fun streams. So that's how I initially found you. Another streamer friend of mine was like, "Hey, the CEO of Twitch is live right now, playing music."
Yeah.
What?
It is funny. I one thing that I often joke about is, the people have so many preconceptions on the title, and the title matters to folks. I often joke that I tell this story a lot, so my folks have heard it before, but after I became CEO, I have 6 brothers and sisters, and my dad sent out an email that it says, well, it seems like Twitch, and he had gone to Wikipedia and got all these stats about Twitch, and he was telling us all that he researched Twitch. And I said, so Dad, you mean when I was president, it wasn't worth your time to understand what Twitch was?
Wow. But now that you're CEO, then okay, maybe now I'll take you seriously.
Yes. By the way, I do have to. This is one of the tricky things with the collabs. One of the tricky things is calling out folks that are on the other channel is confusing because we have 2 communities. But I will say there is a Strives just showed up and gave out a bunch of gift subs. So I just want to call him out. And some cheering, and I'll tell the folks on my chat that haven't been here before. In fact, I'll encourage folks to go over to Rob's channel because anything I make, and thank you, I really appreciate it. Dalkov TV and because it was Dalkov TV who did it. I messed it up for a second there. But any money I make from this, I donate to different charities. Last time I did it with Alveus because I don't feel like I should be making any money from this, and I go ahead and match it. So that way, but everybody, please go to Rob's channel. This is how he funds his life.
I'm on. Thank you. People are gifting in my channel too. Latent Logic, thank you for the 100 bits. Hefe, thank you for the resub, 16 months. I appreciate you. Sloth, possibly for the follow, and Jay Artist with 5 gift subs. You guys started a hype train, but normally we play a lot of music during a hype train. We just take rapid fire requests. But
yes.
Not now.
We should chat some. Well, and let's do this. So I came in I think someone was requesting. Was it Only the Good Die Young?
Someone requested
no.
Moving Out.
Moving Out. So let's do this. Let's chat for a little while. And unless you want to take your latitude to do a different song, that'll be a good song to weave in the middle. Because what I've been doing is I'll chat, and then since tonight I'm doing all musicians, and then we get you to do a number. Does that sound good?
Yeah, that sounds great. I'm glad to.
Yeah. All right. So I'm going to jump in, and Rob. So for your audience, let me describe for your audience what I'm trying to do here. Our life is made up of stories. That's the way we all remember our lives. We relive those stories throughout our life, telling them. And so we all have stories. And the idea is, let's spend some time hearing some of Rob's stories, the stories of his life. And that might be stories from his life when he was younger, growing up, or stories from his life, as a streamer. So, Rob, I will kick this off, okay? And say, and I'm gonna. This may be too general and it won't prod anything. Okay, actually, no. This is a good one. This will prod anything. This will be easy. Tell us the story of how you came to music in your life when you were younger. In other words, when you were growing up, how was music a part of your life when you were young?
Yeah, sure. First, I would say just thank you in general for having me on your Streamer Stories new segment, and one of your first. I think it's really awesome that you're, the CEO of Twitch, and then connecting with streamers of all levels. So it's super awesome, and thank you for choosing me. It's been your show here. How I got started, I have older siblings. They all pretty much played music, and they're much older, 12, 18, 21 years older, same parents. That was definitely the accident. My sister played piano, and I just loved it. She would play and I would dance around, and so I just loved it. She inspired me to want to play, so I tried to figure things out. I also had an older brother who played drums, like prog rock drums, and he would just shred on the drums, and I would just stand there and blink every time he hit the snare because it was so loud, but just be amazed at how he could just play all these drums, and he knew which drums to hit. No. And my other brother played a little bit of guitar too, and he could sing. So they didn't really live at home too much. They weren't around a lot, but they definitely, that little bit of, especially my sister, they all kind of inspired me to want to play. And so I learned a little bit of piano, and then started taking lessons when I was 7, and really loved music, really took to it. I didn't love practicing so much, but I wanted to be outside and play sports, play video games. But I always have connected with the piano, and it definitely came from my siblings.
So did you in high school, was music a big part of your high school experience, or one of these things that you kind of grew up with music, but then once you got to high school, you were doing all sorts of other things, and then, you came back to music?
No, music was always a big part, especially in high school. In fact, one of the biggest mistakes in my life, I went to my first year of high school, or right before around high school. I think even before I started high school, actually. I was taking lessons from a teacher at the Cleveland Institute of Music, which is a really prestigious music school in Cleveland, and learning much more classical, and it was very difficult for me. I hadn't been pushed like that quite a bit. But I was proud of that, and I played in the orchestra, and I played in the jazz band. And then around that same time, I was like, all right, I shouldn't be spending too much time on video games anymore. So it was popular for kids to start selling their Nintendo games and play computer games, whatever. So I was like, okay, I'm gonna sell pretty much all my Nintendo games, the early NES games, boxes and everything at a garage sale for $2 a piece because they weren't working as much. So the point was, I'm gonna sell these and focus more on music. And I've since regretted that greatly. And I've since tried to, now I collect NES games. That's how it starts. You try to collect your old NES games back.
Yes, yeah, the things you lost when you were... Well, we collected all sorts of things. I grew up in New Orleans, and there's certain collections that you're like, oh, I wish For me, I collected doubloons, because New Orleans, Mardi Gras, people... And I had this... I remember I was thinking, when I get older, my kids are going to be so appreciative that I have this doubloon collection. And it's still up in the attic. And like my kids, of course, do not care. They did not grow up in New Orleans,
Are they still full of air?
Huh?
Do they still have air in them?
No. Oh, doubloons, not balloons. So at Mardi Gras, they sell these. They throw these coins. They throw coins. And the interesting thing is, it used to be like that was the thing when I was growing up. You'd go to a parade. And what you wanted to get were doubloons, okay? They would throw these cheap beads, and you wouldn't care about it. But they'd they would take a handful of them, and they'd throw them out, okay? Because there'd be in these parades on the floats, they'd throw, and all the kids would go scrambling, and you'd step your hands, and you'd come back with a bag of doubloons, and then you'd trade them at school. And then eventually the parades, they started getting nicer beads and cups and all this other trinkets. And doubloons aren't big in New Orleans, nearly as big as New Orleans anymore. That like the whole, like that being the central focus of when I was young, that was just like everything. And, but now there's like, yeah, they still throw some, All right, off of my story. So Rob, tell me this, in terms of, did you go to college for music?
I did. I want to defend myself. There's an echo in my end because I fixed it now. But there's a big echo. So everything he's saying is like echoing in my head. So doubloons, all I heard was balloons.
Hold on, I'm blurry now.
Did I go to college for music? Yes, I did. I went to the Baltimore Conservatory of Music. I studied music theory. I didn't want to become a theorist or anything. I wanted to just learn as much about music as I can so I can be the best songwriter and pianist that I could be, to write music and to perform, to be a rock star eventually, essentially. That was my goal for going to college. And
that's interesting that you wanted to be a rock star. Usually people that go to conservatories, like as opposed to their dream being a rock star, that's like you settled because in fact your dream is to be a concert pianist, and then you realize, why in God's name would I want to be a concert pianist? And you become a rock star.
Yeah, well, I just was like, what? I want to learn as much as I can about music, and to have trying to be in a band and be successful is so competitive, even back, 20 years ago. And I was like, I just want to learn as much as I can, give myself an edge as much as I can, to try to stand out above other musicians. That was my mindset as an 18-year-old.
And now
I learned a ton from it, and I met a ton of people, and I started a band in college. It was definitely an absolutely great thing. And then you also there's a lot more people, a lot more millennial musicians who come from music school. So it became a lot of people, I think, had that same mindset.
Yeah. Now, did you have you basically, since you got out of school, funded your whole life through your music?
Oh, good. Yeah. I mean, not right away. Right after college, I spent a year at home, just kind of trying to really chill or catch up or write some music, and I recorded an album. But then I got a job at a coffee factory, roasting, where they roast beans, and I would deliver them and pack orders and everything. And then I worked at a bank for a couple years as a bank teller. And then all while doing that, I had a band. We would record, we would play live, and travel a little bit. And
so you were always, you may not have been able to find, you did other things so that you could, music may not have always been funding your life, okay? But, music was always where you were going.
Yeah, I always had that focus in mind. This is where I want to be. Let me do just a job to make money so I can focus on, I can have free time then. And a job that's not mentally taxing.
Yeah.
Working in a warehouse or bank teller was very easy, not mentally challenging. At least the bank that I worked at was pretty slow.
Right. You would show up, you'd show up, you'd do your job, and then you could go home. and do your music.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah. So my brother is an actor and has lived his life both as an actor and as a theater producer. He runs a theater in New York called the Drilling Company. That's a small theater. And I always used to joke because I'd ask him because he'd have a friend who like would do this or that. And I said, well, Joe, maybe you should develop another skill just so you can like make some money on the side as you're trying to make it as a, in theater. He says, no, I don't want to develop any other skills. If I develop other skills, then I might be tempted to use those skills. Okay. And then I have to get to the punchline. He came home one Christmas and he was juggling. And I said, Joe, this is a year later, you've gotten really good at juggling. You going to keep working on that? And he literally said, no, I don't want to get any better because it might tempt me away from acting.
There's something to be said for having a fallback, that if you have a fallback, you're more likely to use it.
It's very true.
I had many an argument with my father during college and after college. With your parents, they know trying to make a life as a musician is pretty tough, and it takes a lot of work. And they didn't know anyone who made a life as a musician, so they're just like, you need to have a backup. You need to have another degree. And I was like, there's nothing else that I want to do, and I'm going to make this work. So I understand now where they were coming from. They just don't want to see their kid suffer as an adult.
Right.
But in my heart, and I've always known, like, this is what I'm compelled to do. Music is, if I'm not doing music, I'm unhappy, something's missing, and I'm happy to continue to pursue music, and it's taking me so many places that so many other people don't get to do.
I also think one thing that I think there are lots of different ways you can fund your life through music, in terms of lessons, in terms of, you find different ways sometimes, right? As you're trying, that you can still get a little bit here, get a little bit there, get a side gig, because there's always places that need a skilled musician, right? Especially a piano player. Like, actually, talk about that. I think you told me how you played in a piano bar and some of that stuff. So talk about that.
Yeah, so I did a lot of different gigs to just make a living that were just like music related, even though they weren't necessarily what I would really liked. Like, I've been playing, actually my first job ever was playing for a ballet and tap dance class. I was 14. Someone was leaving and they knew I played because I had done like little craft fairs. So this teacher trusted me to come in and play music for her class, and it was a fun little job. I did a lot of like background music early on, and even that, like early on, I was like, this isn't the kind of music I want to play. I don't want to play background music. I want to be up front and like grab attention and play something that's really like powerful and meaningful. So I ended up doing though, but after my working at the bank, I got a job at a dueling piano bar, Howl at the Moon's a franchise throughout the country, and learned how to perform. Even though it wasn't necessarily, I don't want to necessarily be a dueling pianist, I ended up taking tons of different jobs: dueling pianos, musical theater director, playing in musical pits, playing church music, accompanying, playing in other bands, and all these different skills were not necessarily my focus, but I learned so many musical skills from doing all of them. I became a better musician. I became a better just like person, like understanding life, understanding other people, taking different roles. It's all been super informative and got me to where I am now as a musician.
Yeah. It's funny as you think of the piano bar, and like you go through these phases of doing things, and for you kept moving. Right. And I always, when I say, sometimes you see him like, so there's these dueling piano bars at Pat O'Brien's in New Orleans. Okay. And that was a kind of thing in the piano bar. And usually the folks in the dueling piano bar were these, 60-year-old guys, right, who had been doing it. And I often think about like the path they chose, and then how sometimes they get like on this one thing, and then like it just sticks. Right. And it works for them. But like, I think about where were they going? And like, that's the interesting thing about you. You've kind of kept doing all sorts of things.
Yeah, I've always had my main goal in front. Like I've always known I love composing music and I love performing music pretty equally. And whether that's performing music in a band or, which is the most fun thing, performing live in front of an audience that cares about what you're doing is the most fun. Or I do a lot of like piano music now, like almost concert pianist as a classical, but video game music pianist. I have a whole thing called 88-bit, so I got to play like MagFest and PAX and other video game music conventions, and even like classical concerts. I've always known I want to do those kinds of things. And I've gotten to score a video game soundtrack recently as well, for a game called Straylight. And like I've always had that in my mind. And even if I wasn't able to always do that stuff. So, but the other things they're all like stepping stones still to kind of get closer to those main goals.
Now, how much, in terms of the music you listen to, how much do you like? Do you listen to a lot of piano music in terms of for your own enjoyment?
No. I usually don't listen to a lot. Not lately. I mean, I've listened to a lot of classical piano music in the past, especially like during college and stuff. Right now, if I'm listening to music, I'm trying to listen to what other people like share with me. Like, here, check this out. Or I have a lot of friends in music, so I'm trying to keep up with what everybody's putting out.
Yeah.
And that's usually what I'm listening to. Like.
Yeah. That's the way I am.
I don't have time to listen to music either because I'm usually working on stuff that has sound. So
yeah.
I can't put music on, unless I'm doing email, but then I'm not really listening to it. It's going on the background. So listening to music just for pleasure, I don't do as much as I did like in college and high school.
No, in fact, I have all these, it used to be, and I don't know why, I think part of it was the format, to be honest. I would get an album or a CD, and because I just spent money on it, I felt like I needed to spend time with this artifact that I just bought. And I'd get back and I wouldn't do other stuff. I would like put it on, and I'd love it when they had liner notes and lyrics, because I'd be like, I want to spend time with this artifact because I just spent $10 or $15 or whatever. And now there's a new album out, and I'm like, oh, I really want to do it. But like Jason Isbell just came out with a new album that tons of people have been raving, and I've listened to it. But I haven't deeply listened to it, like looking at the lyrics, and I used to do that where I'd pick an artist and I would just like go through and I had I'd listen to jazz, I'd listen to algebra, all sorts of stuff. And I don't do that. I just don't do that as much anymore. I think part of it is the artifact. Streaming is so wonderful. But now, since I can listen to everything, I don't feel this, I need to listen to it now.
Yeah, I relate with that. Definitely getting a new CD, taking it home, opening it up, taking out the liner notes, listening to music, putting your headphones, and just that is all you do. That is all you focus on. That's kind of lost now. But what's amazing now with listening to music is streaming services like Spotify and Apple Music. I don't have to sit at the store and be like, which
yes, I know.
Should I get Led Zeppelin 3 or Led Zeppelin 4? I know my friend really likes 3, but I hear a lot of people talk about 4. It has Stairway to Heaven on it. So you don't have to choose. You could just listen to everything that the artist has. And I've spent a lot of time since the pandemic too, just let me listen to all of Stevie Wonder's music, or let me listen to the entire what Bruce Hornsby's written since the first record. And it's wow, I would have never been able to do that.
No, I agree. You can go so deep. You can go so deep. So I'm curious if you ever listen to this album, because you know how there are certain albums that they're kind of central in your life and they stay with you because of how much. And one of the most central albums when I was in college that I go back to is Keith Jarrett Cone Concert. Do you know that album?
Oh yeah, it's an incredible album. Yeah.
It is if anyone who has not heard Keith Jarrett Cone Concert, it is, and it's mesmerizing. I would just put it on and just play it late at night, and it would just go. And the sound, I put it on now, and I can just sit there. And it's Keith Jarrett. I'll put it in mine, who's a jazz pianist. But this album in particular, it's just, I've listened to a lot of his other stuff, but none of it none of it was quite the same as Cone concert.
Yeah, and if you don't know, it's an incredible concert where everything is, he just improvised. He did these concerts where he just improvised the whole concert. And even if you didn't know that, you just listened to it, you'd be like, wow, this is really good. These are great compositions. And then when you realize he just came up with that on the spot, like
it's staggering. It's staggering because it has such rhythm and beat and like the flow from one part to another. You know.
Yeah, it is mind-blowing.
Yeah, it really is. All right, well, let's do this. We've been chatting for a little while. Let's have you play something now.
Okay.
You don't have to do moving out. You pick what you play.
All right, I'll pick something. I should do an original song.
Good.
I've heard a couple of mine already. So let's see here. I wasn't prepared. You think I would have been prepared to have a song ready to play? Chat, what song should I play?
Yeah,
I'll play something more upbeat. My most recent two albums, the most recent one is this synthwave soundtrack, progressive synthwave. So that I'm really proud of. Although I don't really want to play it on piano. The album before that was a more like emotional breakup, not just a whole like concept of a relationship album. Should I do Reach You? I should probably do that one. Let me do Reach You. This is, I think, the best song on that album. How's that sound on your end, okay?
It sounds good to me. Let me see what my chat says. My chat was saying that your mic was coming through with some reverb, I think, but I think it's fine.
Well, I'm gonna turn some reverb on now that you mentioned it. But okay. If you're listening in Dan's chat and you want to hear the song, come over into my chat because you're going to hear it in full stereo. The sound that you're getting through Guest Star is a mono signal. So a lot of the fullness of the sound here is going to get a little compressed over on Dan's stream. So if you want to hear the full thing,
and go over to Rob's anyway because I'll wrap up after this. I think Rob is still streaming after this, so you should hang with Rob.
Yeah, we'll be streaming a little bit longer. So, all right, let me do this. All right, here we go. So this is a song of mine called Reach You. It's off my record called Let Go. Hope you like it.
Look into me and walk away. I fall for every word you say. I feel like such a naive fool for letting you in to take and twist and break the rules. Into my guarded heart you saw, tearing me open and exposing every flaw. But elephants caught on your line. You throw me back and still I get hooked every time. And no matter what I try, you're the one I'm losing inside. I am yours to wrap around. Pull me in or hand me out. I desperately want to believe when you say you're believing in to be with me, that I'm born into your game. Foolishly convinced that I could make a move to sway you, and you have no clue of what you want. And I kept waiting for you to figure it out. I'm going on blaming the world for our boys and villains out to hurt this so fragile girl. And no matter what you try, you're the one I'm losing inside. I am yours to wrap around. Pull me in or hand me out. myself to you to give away. And then you realize that I'm the only one you want to say. Oh, and that's the compromise. I give myself to you to give away. And then you realize that I'm the only one you want to say. Will I ever really reach you? Oh, will I ever really reach you? Oh, will I ever really reach you? Will I ever really reach you? Oh, will I ever really reach you? Will I ever really reach you? Oh, will I ever really reach you? Will I ever really reach you? Oh, I'm a king of wishful thinking. I'm a king of wishful thinking. I'm a king of wishful thinking. Oh, I'm a king of wishful thinking. Will I ever really reach you? Will I ever really reach you? Will I ever really reach you? Will I ever really reach you?
Nice. Nice.
Thank you. Thank you.
Now I need to share the emotes and all from my chat verbally. I don't think that quite works.
I have your chat open. But I did.
Oh, good. There you go. Right.
Got it. Thank you, Paul Ogden, for the claps, the hearts. I appreciate the new follows. Dixon, Robbie, Rob Balboa, Full Energy, Lit Rips, Patrick, a Moose, Misanthrope, and then a bunch of other people. Oakley Doakley, welcome back. Thank you for the 300 bits. 1,000 bits from Strives. Welcome, Strives. Thank you for the follow as well.
Yeah, Strives came over from my channel.
Oh,
yeah.
3,000 bits. Oh, thank you, Strives. And then we got a raid. 3,000 bits. 4 Strives. 5, 6 Strives. Thank you.
Strives is very generous.
Bits.
Strives is very generous.
Thank you. And then thanks for the raid, LK Jeremy. Sorry we didn't get to greet you, but thank you, appreciate it. Thanks for letting me play that. Again, that was an original song of mine called Reach You. It's on Spotify. You can check out the whole thing. There's a full band that plays on it, and it's a lot of fun.
So one question I like to ask everyone is, and by everyone I mean you're the third person, right? But describe for us, to you, what is the magic of Twitch?
There's really nothing quite like it. There's a couple things that are magical about it. The ability to perform music and see what people are thinking mid-song is special. Like normally if you play a live concert, you play your song, you can feel the energy of people, and people cheer and clap. And then after the show, maybe you might talk to someone like, I really liked, you great show. I really liked the third song you played. But here you can see immediately, like if you play something, people will react kind of right away, and you get great feedback that as a musician is very valuable. You can learn what you're doing well or what you're not doing well, and continue to grow from that. That's just one unique thing about streaming. For me, everything that I mentioned earlier, like all these different like paths that I've taken, like dueling pianos, learning a ton of pop rock songs, or playing musicals and musical theater, and playing video game music on a separate project. Like Twitch allows me to bring all of that to the same spot, where that was never been the case for me before. If I want to play a dueling piano gig, I'm playing pop rock songs. I'm not going to throw in any originals. I'm not going to throw in any video game music. If I'm going to play at a restaurant, I'm not going to sing and play super loud, and I'm going to play songs that people know. But Twitch allows me to be my complete self as a musician. It allows me to bring all these different styles, and I can connect with people who also appreciate that and love all these different styles as well. I've never been able to find a community of like-minded people like this, like I have through Twitch.
I think one thing you kind of alluded to as a musician, and especially, if once you get to a certain level, you have the luxury of only performing when everyone there is just there to see you and they're focused on what you are doing. But of course, most musicians do not have that luxury. And in fact, they need to play in different environments where you're the kind of side entertainment while they're chatting with their friend and, doing whatever. And, it's just so different. I know for my daughter, for those on your channel that don't know, she's a singer-songwriter. And she just it's really hard for her to perform because she invests so much in her music. And it's hard for her to perform when people aren't like emotionally present. And I think it's so unique that when you're performing, people are there and really paying attention and emotionally present for the music, as opposed to saying, "Get me another beer. Oh, how was your weekend?" And okay, this is a really emotional song for me,
Yeah, luxury is a good word. Yeah, being able to have it's a privilege that people take time out of their day to come see you play. And, I don't mind, people come to see me play on a live show or even, on Twitch. I don't mind at all if someone wants to chat with their friend, go for it, talk with your friend. I feel like it's my job as a musician to be compelling enough, to be engaging enough to make you not want to talk to your friend right then and actually listen to the song.
Yeah, but I think it's tough. It all depends upon why they're showing up. That's like open mics. There's certain open mics where people are coming for the open mic. Okay, where there's certain open mics where they're coming for the food, and they're like, "Oh, there's an open mic here," but we were coming, and there's this one in Tahoe in Truckee that I was going to when I was there this winter, and everyone's there for the open mic. It's a great facility, and there's something about it when everyone's there to listen to the music.
Yeah, that's true. But then you have time in between acts to talk and connect with each other.
Yeah. You still talk, but you care about the music as opposed to oh yeah, I guess there's some music in the background. And as a musician, it just and that's so special at Twitch that everyone is just there, investing in what you're putting out.
Yeah, Twitch is very special and very unique, and I feel so grateful every time I turn on the stream and see familiar names show up and that I have an audience. I feel so grateful for this platform and opportunity. I don't have to carry shit around anywhere.
Oh God, yes.
That's part of the magic of Twitch. I don't have to carry anything or unload.
Especially as a piano player, because that's one thing. So the funny thing is, there's this open mic in Trout Lake that I was going to, and at the open mics they don't have a piano. Most people just come with their guitar. So I'm schlepping my piano, the electric piano, and the stand and all this, and in fact, actually, sometimes we even have folks at our house. We have a stage that, in fact, actually, Rob, if you're ever in the Pacific Northwest, tell me, because you should definitely come by. And it's I'm an hour east of Portland, but and we were going to have some folks over and do a kind of pseudo open mic, okay? And my daughter's like, oh, Dad, can you set things up? So I had to get the piano out there and the speaker and the wires and the microphones and all that. And I said, it used to be I got all excited when we were going to do these open mics, and I'd be thinking what 3 songs I was going to play or 4 songs. And I said, now I'm so spoiled because I'm streaming on Twitch and I can go and play like 15 songs and I don't have to schlep anything. I was kind of like, yeah, I guess this is good, but I could just stream on Twitch and like go upstairs and like have a lot more people and play a lot more songs.
Yeah, there's definitely it's tough to get me out. Like I don't play it local as much anymore because I don't have to, and then B, during the pandemic all those things are gone. So live streaming and Twitch was a lifesaver for a lot of musicians. And but open mics too, you get to connect.
I still love it.
Musicians. Yeah, there's nothing quite like that too. But I mean, the Twitch community, the music community on Twitch is amazing too. I've met so many amazing people and friends through Twitch. Like some of the best musicians I've ever seen are on Twitch. Crossover Carissa raided. She's an incredible vocalist. Thank you for the raid. I got to meet her at TwitchCon, and saw her streaming beforehand. And like, there's so many people.
No, wait,
Music
who
is
was
Code
it?
is another one. Fantastic piano player.
Hold on, who was the one you just mentioned?
Crossover Carissa. It's Carissa spelled with 2 R's. Say hi, Crossover Carissa.
There we go.
In both chats. Say it in his chat. Music is Code is great too.
Good. I need to follow Crossover Carissa.
Calvin Thomas, music is there. What's up, Calvin Thomas? Another incredible singer, guitar player. Incredible. So jealous of Calvin's voice.
Now I know.
Rain is here. All these amazing musicians.
I need to wake up early for Crossover Carissa because she's 9 a.m. to 12. And so I need to wake up. I'm not wake up early. I'm already awake by then. I'm always awake by then. But I'm working then normally. But you know what? I think when I'm in Europe, I might be able to time it so that I can catch her some. And since I'm usually in meetings from 9 to 12.
She's very, very good. Just a superb vocalist, knows tons of songs, great personality, super fun, plays piano as well, very well. She's got a really fun stream.
Is she listening right now?
She's here.
Okay, so
she's in my chat.
Okay, good. Well, Carissa, I'm going to reach out to you so we can do this with you sometime. And because I'm trying to do this with a lot of folks, not just musicians, but I'd love to do it with you and time it so that works.
That'd be awesome. She's brilliant.
So Rob, usually up till now, I've just had folks do one song, but let's do one more song. Can you do one more song for us?
Yeah, I'll do a video game song. So, unless Chad has suggestions on my end. So I did an original, and I also have a whole other project called 88-bit, which was when I had the idea, but what kicked it off was I was like kind of frustrated with being in bands. I was like, I'm gonna do this solo thing. I don't have to worry about practices and trying to wrangle people to rehearse and whatever. So, but I love video game music, especially early video game music, and I really wanted to shed light on early NES music because I thought it was really fascinating. And unless you played the games, you're probably not going to know this music. But when you hear it on the piano, played kind of virtuosically on a real piano, you're more open to appreciating it. So I'll do an 88-bit thing. Oh my gosh, do I have background music playing? I do. Oh my goodness, guys.
I was worried that was me. I was like, oh, do I have something going?
I thought I had that off because why don't I hear it? And I usually hear it.
I think it just came. Gosh. I don't think it's been going the whole time.
Oh, was it? All right. Well, thank you for letting me know, MoKoi. I appreciate it. Was it on while I played that last song too?
I don't think so.
Thank you, Strides, for all the 1,000 bits, 2 more 1,000 bits. And thank you for the raids. One on piano, Crossover, Carissa, geez. All right, so I'm going to do, I'll do some Mega Man 2 music. This is, I do a couple songs from Mega Man 2. I'll do the intro, and then Airman, and then a little bit of the outro. Here we go. Pull your chat up back. Mega Man 2 emotes if you got them.
Damn. Really
There
good.
we go. Mega Man 2. Airman. That was that was what I ended with, Airman. But I did a little bit of the intro and title theme, and then some of the other interludes, game start, and everything, and then Airman. It's my whole arrangement of every note from Airman from the NES.
Damn, there really is something about the piano live. Okay, now I'm going to get greedy now, Rob, and the answer may be no, I don't know one of these. But as you're playing that, I'm from New Orleans. You don't know any Professor Longhair, do you?
Oh, man, no. And I knew you were going to ask that. He's so good.
It's its own style
so
that like it and like I could hear you doing it like really, really well.
I did a lot of blues and just kind of jamming in high school and college a little bit, but I never learned any Professor Longhair.
Yeah, he's one of those people that because as you know, like I schlep along on the piano, and I was always like, God, if only I could I would be so happy if I could learn to have my right hand and my left hand decoupled. But I know it will take a very, very long time now. And when I hear him play, and it's just like, oh my gosh, and I hear you play, I forget that same feeling,
Yeah, hand independence. Blues is the way I learned how to do it. Just keeping a bass line going. Even just something simple, and then and playing a lot of, like I said, ballet and tap dance music. That works great because I would just keep the beat going, and then I could practice.
It just takes. It takes time. Yeah.
Yeah, and the more time you put into something, the better you're gonna get.
Yeah, I know. And now I got to put my time into streaming.
You're gonna get. Yeah, I'm watching for a little bit. You've gotten a lot better already.
Yeah. All right, Rob. Well, this has been great. I really appreciate it. Thank you for doing this for us. It's been a wonderful session, and looking forward to hanging with you more. And now let's see. I think you've said. I think I even asked you earlier. Will you be at TwitchCon Vegas or not?
I will be in Vegas. Yes, I'll be going. I went last year, had a blast, and I got my plane ticket and everything, and just waiting for the badges to go on sale, and then we'll be there.
Good. Well, I'm looking forward to seeing there. One of my thoughts, although I may get in trouble in the hotel room, there is a reasonable chance. I've been thinking about going down in my Sprinter and visiting some streamers on my way. And if I did, I'll bring my piano and everything. And at least last year I got a nice suite, and I felt it was a waste because I'm like, I mean, there's this big suite because when we get all the blocks of hotel rooms, you have to reserve a certain, that's the deal, right? And I'm like, what a waste of space. So maybe this year I'll bring my piano and we can have a late night party.
Please do, because I won't be able to fly with a piano.
No, I know. That's why I have to drive down with my Sprinter. Boy, Dizzy's here. Well, let's do this, Rob. Thank you. I really appreciate it, and looking forward to seeing more of you.
Likewise. Thank you so much, Dan, for doing these talks and for inviting me on. This is so fun. And if you're ever in Cleveland area, that's where I'm at.
Okay, that's good to know. Actually, I'm thinking of, I'm glad you mentioned Cleveland, because I'm thinking of doing a loop. And so it's good to know you're in Cleveland. So, because I'm thinking of going through the Midwest and then down. I want to go to the Americana Music Festival in September, and so I'm trying to see if I can do it.
Well, yeah, you're definitely welcome here, and this was so fun. So
all right, thanks, Rob. Bye-bye.
Bye, everyone.